Welcome to Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshat Kedoshim, and the riddle for this Erev Shabbos. Ruvain, walking along the street one day, notices a for sale sign on a one-room apartment. He writes down the number and later on that day calls and makes an appointment to come and see the apartment. When he knocks on the door, he's greeted by an elderly Jewish gentleman who brings him into the apartment, sits him down in the kitchen, gives him something to eat and drink, and schmoozes with him for a few moments. And then the elderly Jew takes him on a brief tour of the apartment. When Ruvain asks how much the apartment is, the elderly Jew quotes a sum for him that is astronomical. Ruvain wonders if he can negotiate, and he asks if the man will take less money. And the man says, "No, not a penny less than this amount. I will not negotiate." Ruvain politely thanks the man and leaves. About a year later, Ruvain is walking down the same street and notices that the for sale sign is still there. He climbs up the steps and knocks on the door, and that same elderly Jewish gentleman greets him. And the elderly gentleman asks him to come into the apartment and wants him to sit down and give him something to eat and drink and schmooze with him. And Ruvain says, "No, I've come and I've seen the apartment already. I was just wondering whether or not you've lowered your price." And the elderly gentleman says, "No, not one penny." Ruvain says, "How do you expect to sell it at such a high price?" And with this, the man breaks into tears and says, "I actually never hoped to sell this apartment. However, I am living by myself. I'm alone and very lonely. This is the only way that I can find people to talk to. People come by, they see the sign. They come up, knock on the door, they call, they come over, and I sit and schmooze with them for a few moments. It's the only human contact that I have." And the man asked Ruvain to please keep his secret. Later that day, Ruvain approached his Rav and asked if what the old man was doing was proper. Yes, it was true, he was deceiving people, but he was doing it for a good cause. If you're watching on YouTube, you can find the answer to last week's riddle by clicking up in the right corner of the screen. Shabbat Shalom.